What's up, Vibe Tribe? This is Conjured Coco, all things witchy, all things spiritual, where it's always a mood and a vibe. Y'all ready? Because I'm ready, and we about to get into some things. So, anything that you need to know about me can be found in the description box down below. Social medias, contact information, and all of those things. This video is going to be a little bit different from the other story times that I put out. This one is very, very recent, and this one is a little more on the serious side. So just as a disclaimer, let me turn this down, baby, because I'm not trying to get copywritten. But I gotta have a good vibe, you know. Some Marvin Gaye, a little Anita will definitely set this party off right, okay? But yeah, so this video is going to be a little more serious than the other videos that I put out. And by the time you all see this, it will be September 1st. So make sure that you send your girls some love. Tell me happy birthday on my socials down below. Send me an email, you know, all of the things. But make sure you tell your girl happy birthday, okay? So, this story time is going to be about how I recently came close to losing my life. And I really debated with myself whether or not I was going to, you know, put this video out or not, because low-key, I'm still processing the situation and still getting a grasp on how serious it is, how serious it was, and it's a lot. So, last week, maybe I should just start from the beginning. So, over the past year, I had been having some, I guess, issues with my health, and I'm somebody who, you know, believes in holistic medicine. I never get sick, like, ever. Like, I never get sick, not even a cold, none of that. But I had began losing weight, like, real quick, and I know that you probably can't tell from me being on camera, but I had began to lose weight, and I went down from like 145, 150 down to 120 pounds, which is not normal for me. I haven't been 120 pounds since I was 16 years old, baby. Sidebar, I have gained some weight, thank goodness. But yeah, it started there with my weight loss. I lost my appetite, like I had no desire to eat anything. I just figured, like, you know, maybe I was going through some sort of a change, you know, spiritually, where I just wanted to, you know, change my diet or something like that. But I didn't have a desire to eat. And then, you know, fast forward, I started to feel weaker and weaker. Doing like everyday tasks was extremely difficult for me. I'm talking about washing clothes, taking out the garbage, grocery shopping. Like, it was a struggle for me. Like, I would get severely out of breath. I would be tired. Like, me and my bed was like this. We was best friends. All I wanted to do was just sleep. And again, I was just thinking, you know, I'm dealing with life issues. I'm dealing with, you know, maybe a spiritual change or something like that. Like, I just, you know, I'm somebody that keeps pushing and keeps going regardless of, you know, what's going on around me. So that's what I did. You know, I have a child to take care of, a household to keep together. So I was focusing on working and just going, you know. And one day I woke up and I could see, but I had like a little brown circle, like a floater, but it was in the center of my eye. So I could still see, like 98%. But it was in my line of vision, so I'm like, what the heck is going on? You know what I mean? Like, this is different. I wear glasses, I wear contacts, and so I took my contacts out. Don't sleep in your contacts. I do that frequently. Whatever, but don't sleep in your contacts. You shouldn't. So I thought, maybe it's because I slept with my contacts. So I took them out and I was wearing my glasses for a couple of days without wearing my contacts at all. And it was still there. Now, mind you, I'm still dealing with having shortness of breath. I'm still dealing with being so weak. Like walking from my house to my car, like outside to my car, was a struggle for me. Walking around a grocery store, whereas before it would take me 20 minutes, it was taking me an hour, 2 hours. So yeah, I scheduled an eye doctor appointment, and I'm kind of skipping over a few things, but I scheduled a doctor's appointment. I'm skipping over some things, but I'm going to circle back around to them. So yeah, I had scheduled an eye doctor appointment because I wasn't really freaking out, but I was just thinking, it had something to do with me wearing my contacts or whatever. So I get to the eye doctor and he takes a picture of my eye, my right eye, and he starts freaking out. He's like, do you have cancer in your family? Do you have HIV? And I'm like, what? Absolutely not, and he said, it looks like there's either a hole in your eye or a hemorrhage. And so he said, I'm calling the emergency room and you need to go right now. He checked my blood pressure. Never have I ever had my blood pressure taken in the eye doctor's office, ever. So I was asking him, like, should I be worried? Like, I'm starting to get a little scared. And he was just like, with all of your other symptoms, being short of breath, you need to go. So, mind you, prior to this eye doctor appointment, I had gotten so fed up and so frustrated with my body, like, because I couldn't figure out what is wrong with me. Why do I feel so drained all the time? Why don't I have an appetite? Why did I lose so much weight so quickly? And so I had went to the doctors, and then I had went to the ER as well. But the ER that I went to, like, there was people laid out on the floor, and there were older people in there that were complaining of shortness of breath, and they weren't being seen. So me being the Virgo that I am, I was like, oh baby, I'm leaving. I gotta work. I gotta take my child to work. I have shit to do. That was my motto. I got shit to do. I got things to do. So I left. Now I had made plans on going back to the doctor because obviously, my health is important to me, but I had stuff to do. I had things that, I thought at the time were more important than getting my health checked out. So fast forward, I go to the emergency room. Like I said, the eye doctor had called, and I go there, and so, they do intake and all of that, and they took my blood. And they kept coming back, and they're like, we're just gonna, baby, every time I'm filming, I promise you, somebody on one of those little motorbikes wants to go up and down the street, so I'm sorry if y'all can hear that. But anyway, they took my blood, and they came in, and they're like, we're gonna test your blood again, just, so we can make sure, but they weren't telling me anything at first. And they were just asking me, like, what my symptoms were. They asked me about my eye, but they weren't really concerned about my eye. And then they came in and they told me, they said, hey, your hemoglobin is a 2.4 and it should be a 12. And they told me that basically, we don't know how you're sitting here living and breathing and talking to us right now. They said that pew victims, like, don't even make it to my level before they pass away. Like, they pass away at 3 and 4. I was at a 2.4. Now, I had always dealt with being anemic previously, but I guess my numbers had never gotten that low. And I didn't even know that it was that low. So they tested my blood, and yeah, they came in and they told me that basically I should be deceased. I should not be here. Um, yeah, and they kept. If I had like $1 for every time somebody told me that I should be dead, or I am lucky to be alive, or anything like that, I'd probably be rich. Let's just be very clear. They kept saying it to me. So it didn't really like register in that moment, because I'm just like, okay, so my iron is low. And they're like, no, your body was basically shutting down. And so the reason why they ended up circling back around to my eye, and they said that the reason why I had gotten that floater that was obstructing my vision was because when your iron levels or your hemoglobin is very low, and like when your body starts to shut down, it reserves all the blood for your most vital organs, which is your brain, your lungs, your heart, and it kind of deprives the rest of your body that it feels like is not necessary. So like you have 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 eyes, 2 ears, like things like that. It'll take away from that just to make sure that your heart, brain, and lungs has enough blood. So here I am going through my everyday life, still working, still doing, my little extras on the side, still living my everyday life, not knowing that I was like this close to not being here no more. They told me that if I didn't come in when I did, I would have went to sleep and I never would have woken up. And that registered for me. Because I had been sleeping so much and I couldn't figure out why I kept waking up in like panic mode or like fight or flight. And like feeling like I was out of breath, like my throat would be dry. I had like a dry, itchy cough. And at one point I was even like, damn, do I have C19? And I didn't, and I don't. But I couldn't figure that out, and come to find out that because my body was so deprived, like, your hemoglobin and your red blood cells and all of that, they give oxygen to your body, and I didn't have any reserves. They even told me that if I had gotten into a car accident and if I would have had any sort of a bleed, it would have been over for me. And it just scared me like really bad. And all I could just think about was my daughter. Like, that's my heart. That's my top first priority. Aside from myself, because you got to take care of yourself. But I just kept thinking, my baby. And my baby, she's been through some things in her life, but that is something that I don't even want to imagine. But yeah, so basically because my hemoglobin was so low, that was causing all of my other symptoms: the weight loss, the loss of appetite, the me being extremely drained, and all of those things. And I don't know how it's coming across like on camera, but in real life, baby, it was no joke. Like, even when I was filming videos, like, the things that y'all didn't see was me being out of breath after talking for so long, and all of that. So anyway, after they gave me the results of my blood test or whatever, they were pretty much like, we need to give you a blood transfusion immediately, and we need to keep you here for observation. And I'm like, keep? You want me to stay here? Oh, no, baby. What's my motto? I got shit to do. So, I was like, is there any way for me to get the blood transfusion and I can just come back? Like, I literally was trying any and everything to get out of staying in the hospital, because in my head I'm like, I have shit to do. I have my daughter, she relies on me. Like, she's self-sufficient, obviously. Like, she's, she's 16, so she can do things for herself. She's very self-sufficient, very responsible, intelligent, all of those things. But Mama Bear is like, baby, I'm not staying in this hospital. You're crazy. I gotta take her to work. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta do laundry. I gotta work. I gotta. And it wasn't clicking. Your health is the most important, because if you don't get this taken care of, you're not going to be alive to do any of those things. Me being a Virgo that I am, stubborn, want what I want when I want, and I want things to go my way. I was still trying to figure out a way out of staying in the hospital. Now, I know better now. And needless to say, I did end up staying, and thank God that I did, because I don't know that I would be here recording this video, celebrating my birthday, taking care of my baby, which is, numero uno for me. I don't know that I would be here for any of that. And yeah, I've had some close calls before, clearly. Like, I've had some times where I was almost out of here. But this was so different, and it was so humbling, because I'm one of those people that's always saying, you gotta take care of yourself, gotta take care of your body. Like, people that are close to me, the people that I love and care about, I'm always like, my mom and whoever else, like, when they're going through stuff, I'm like, yo, you gotta take care of your body, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And here I am neglecting me for shit that, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. And I really, truly understand that now. So I'm in the hospital, and this was last Friday night. I got to the hospital earlier in the day, like in the morning, and they told me that they were keeping me like shortly after that, and they got me set up like with the IV and stuff, and they bruised my arm. Now it's healed, and you probably can't even see on camera, but my arm was black and blue, baby. Like, they tore me up. So they got me set up so I can get my blood transfusion. I ended up getting 4 units of blood, and that was over the course of a couple of days, because the doctor originally was like, we're going to just only keep you overnight for observation. So I'm like, okay, cool, I can do overnight. And then he came in later on and was like, oh, maybe a night or 2 or 3. And I was like, oh no, baby, I gotta get out of here. Get me out of here, please. I gotta go home. I have shit to do. And he was just like, you can leave if you want to, Miss. He said, you can leave if you want to. And he said my last name. But it would be against medical advice. And, he reiterated to me that if I left, there was no promise that I would be alive to come back. Like, when I tell y'all, again, I don't know how it's coming across on camera, but like, again, in real life, it was scary to me. And for part of that time, it wasn't clicking that I needed to stay there. So yeah, they're giving me the blood transfusion, and it was okay. When I tell you, that was probably the most I have ever cried in my entire life. Like, I'm sensitive, but I think that was the most that I've ever cried in my entire life. And I cried for my baby. I cried for myself, and what could have potentially happened to me. I cried because I felt so alone. Being in that hospital, like, I literally felt like I was in jail, and I ain't never been arrested. But I felt like I was in jail. Like, I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I couldn't leave. I couldn't, Like, I was able to talk to my daughter, and, for obvious reasons, I didn't want her to see me like that. So I wanted her to carry on with her regular life without any interruption. So I didn't have her come down to the hospital. My mom and my stepdad came and visited me. And until the day that I got out of the hospital, which was Sunday, I was down there by myself. And that also put a lot into perspective for me, because it hurt so bad, because even though there were some people that didn't know, there were some people that did know, and they didn't show up for me. And it hurt real deep, like real deep, because I feel like I'm one of those people that if I love you and if I care about you, if we're friends, if we're, family, if we're, in any kind of a relationship, and you call me and you need me, I'm there. I'm dropping my shit and I'm running if you need me, and just to feel like I didn't have that hurt really bad. And it helped me to realize that some of the things and some of the people that I was prioritizing, I shouldn't have been, So the first night was awful. I'm talking about I couldn't really get any sleep, and part of it was because of like the noise and stuff, but the other part is because I was uncomfortable. I wasn't in my peaceful place. Like, I didn't have my vibes. I didn't feel love, I felt like the energy in the emergency room was so intense, and it just felt like death in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the first night was not a good night at all. I remember being up at 2, 3, and 4 in the morning and just crying. Like, my face was so swollen Saturday, baby. I was trying to like listen to music to calm me down. I was definitely listening to some good old Anita Baker, baby. And it just wasn't doing it. It wasn't doing it for me. I missed my baby. I missed my house. And that was just one night. Like, I was tripping. So day 2. No, well, let me stay on night 1 real quick, because this is something that I also feel that I need to talk about. So for the most part, everybody there treated me so good. They were treating me like I was some kind of like phenomenon, because I was still alive. I was still up and moving. They're like, you drove yourself here. Like, some of the nurses, they're like, you drove yourself here. You walked in here. Like, how are you still here? How are you still? And I was like, the ancestors don't play about me. I'm divinely guided and protected. I don't know, whatever. But one of my nurses, I mean, he wasn't even a nurse. He was like a tech, so he was assisting the nurse. Baby, why was he drunk? And I'm not talking about like tipsy, which you shouldn't be drinking at all if you work at the damn hospital. Let's be very clear. He was drunk, y'all, like to the point where he had to like, I had finished one of the units of blood that they were giving me, and so he had to clean my IV and unhook it and get it prepared for the next bag, which the nurse was going to set up. I was so scared, and I was watching him. When he first came in the room, I thought something was off about him. He came in, he was so sweet, and he was like, he looked at me, he was like, oh, you have such pretty eyes, babe. And I was like, oh, thank you, they're contacts, but thanks, But he just seemed a little off to me. So when he came in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. to, do my IV and stuff, he got like super close to me, and he smelled like cologne and alcohol. And I was like, I know he's not drunk. I know this man's not drunk. I know he's not. And then I thought to myself, let me give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's the hand sanitizer. And I said, well, wait, everybody that's come in my room that has touched me or has done anything has also used the same hand sanitizer and did not smell like him. He was drunk. I feel like I said a lot of stuff for my video to whatever. He was drunk as fuck. Okay, baby. He was working a night shift, so what it was given to me, because he had his big earrings in and stuff, like his I don't know if they were like real diamond earrings, but he had his big studs, and like it was giving, he went out to the bar to hang out, and then he proceeded to come to work, and he was drunk. And that is so dangerous, because not only was he, working on me, he was working on other patients as well. So it's like, you could have messed up severely. You could, like, people, when they come to the emergency room, it's obviously for an emergency. So that was just a little sidebar for night one. He was definitely drunk AF, and it made me nervous. Like, I don't know that I want him touching me because he was drunk like this. But anyway, that was night one. Everybody was super nice, and every time they would come in my room, hey, do you need anything? Hey, do you need anything? Because the ER was cool, but like, I'm very weird about using public restrooms and stuff like that. The restroom was so disgusting, which is not important, but I was just uncomfortable. And every time they came in my room, I was just like, I just want to go home. Like, they weren't laughing at me, but they were just like, you want to go home, but you need to be here. So that's night one. Saturday, they ended up moving me upstairs, which was so much better. It was a much better vibe upstairs. Like, it felt so much more light. It didn't feel like death. It wasn't dirty. I still wanted to go home. I made that very clear. The entire weekend I wanted to go home, but it was much better. They let me know I had to go through like all of these different testings. I had to get all these MRIs and different blood tests and CT scans and all of this stuff, because they had to check to make sure I didn't have like any internal bleeding, because their main question was, how did your blood level get so low? But all the testing had come back normal, and after the blood transfusions, my hemoglobin went up to like almost a 9, which is still, it's supposed to be 12, but 9 is a whole hell of a lot better than 2.4. And they just kept telling me, you're so lucky, you're so lucky, you're so fortunate. If you believe in God, thank God. If you don't believe in God, go play the lottery because you're lucky. And I'm like, I got tired of hearing it after a while. Like, okay, I get it, I understand, And I guess I'm kind of grateful that even though it was annoying at the time, they kept drilling in my head, and I'm grateful because it helped me to like process how important and how serious it was. Not that I wasn't taking it seriously, obviously, but again, I told y'all I was trying to leave the whole time. But it definitely helped me to understand that this is serious. You could literally be somewhere else right now, So, when I got upstairs, they were like, if you want to go outside, you can go outside. If you want to have somebody come and spend the night with you, that's fine. Basically they were like, we don't care. Just, we want to monitor you or whatever. Those little sticky things that they put on you, oh my God, they are so itchy. But when they told me I could go outside, y'all, I switched my socks and put on my shoes so quick and was out. So I went outside, and it was just so, it was different for me. And granted, it had only been one night, but like, just to be able to smell fresh air, because I didn't even, in the ER, like where I was the night before, there's no windows, it's dark. It's just, there's no, like, you don't even, without the clock, you don't know what time of day it was. So that's why I felt like jail. So And then they weren't even like, you're not like registered for real, so I wasn't getting food. I was starving. Like it was a whole thing. But when I got upstairs, they let me go outside, and I was grateful then because I noticed as I'm walking outside, I was like, oh my God, I can breathe. I'm not out of breath. I'm not having to stop and pause every couple of steps to take a breath. And it hit different. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a point that I was thinking, like my grandmother had pulmonary fibrosis and she actually passed away from that or from complications of that. And my aunt actually has pulmonary fibrosis. And so I was thinking, oh my God, is this what's happening to me? What am I, like, all of these thoughts are running through my head. Like, what could this be? How did this happen? Prior to me getting testing and stuff. But, for me to be able to walk outside and just see the sun and feel the sun, like it was a thing, and I had nothing but gratitude because I'm still here. This is only Saturday, and I was just like, wow. And this is like Saturday evening, like late afternoon, evening. But I was just grateful they let me go outside, baby, because I was freaking out. So yeah, they did a bunch of the tests, and all of the tests came back normal. They told me that I didn't have any other damage to my internal organs. And then my blood level had gone up, which was awesome. And I just couldn't be anything other than grateful. Like, one thing about it, them ancestors of mine, baby, they don't play no type of games about me. At all. That, like, they don't play no type of games about me. So yeah, I had another nurse, like, after they had moved me upstairs, and he was so sweet. I don't want to say his name, but he was so sweet. And he kept saying, do you need anything? Do you need anything? And he came in and talked to me, and that's when he was telling me, like, if you want somebody to come up here and stay with you or whatever, because I know you were saying you wanted to go home and you missed your daughter. And I was just like, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to cry again. I started crying again. And he, was just trying to lighten the mood and make me laugh or whatever. So he comes back in a short time later, and he's like, hey, hon, do you want me to grab you some dinner? Or, yeah, I think it was lunch or dinner. I don't remember. Do you want me to grab you something to eat from the lunch tray? And I was like, okay. I was like, what do you got? And I had already let them know that I don't like eat seafood or pork or whatever. And he was like, I looked in your chart and I seen that you don't eat this and this and this. And he was like, so we got beef stroganoff. And he was like, I'm not gonna lie, it looks disgusting. And I was just like, oh, okay. So he brought it to me, and I was like, I don't want this hospital food. Like, sometimes you get lucky and it's okay. Other times it's like, I'm not eating that. And that was one of those meals. So it was nice to have like positive energy, because in the ER it was like fast. Some of the doctors were a little condescending. It wasn't the same like vibe as it was upstairs. So they brought me like a whole 6-pack of ginger ale, and I was just like, oh, okay, check y'all out. I was starting to feel better, like not just physically but also emotionally. I was talking to my baby throughout, and she was good. Like, I knew she would be good because mama raised her that way, but I still wanted to go home. So that was pretty much Saturday night. Like, I just remember I had like a really big window in my room, so I just sat in my window and was looking at the sky and the moon and all of that. And I don't know, y'all, something about, like, I'm usually like alone, like I enjoy my alone time, but like that, it just something about that being there in that moment, like it hit different, and I just felt so like alone out here in this world. And Yes, I have family. Yes, I have friends, but it just hit different. Sunday, they told me Saturday, they're like, we're going to keep you again on until Sunday, and if your numbers like aren't staying the same, if they start to drop, we're going to keep you until Monday. And oh Lord, I didn't freak out like how I did originally, but I was just like, I want to go home. Like, y'all just aren't trying to let me out of here. Like, y'all won't I'm locked up, y'all won't let me out. So Sunday came, and it's crazy because one of the doctors that I had, maybe he's just normal to it's normal for him to see so much trauma and stuff like that. So he was telling me, oh, your numbers are probably going to go down. We're probably going to have to give you another unit of blood or whatever. And I took that as he was doubting me, or I took that as, him being slightly negative. And once my testing results came back, that my numbers, not only did they not go down, they went up. And in my head, I'm like, baby, you don't know me. You don't know my ancestors. You don't even know nothing about that. So they let me know that I was allowed to go home that day, but they had to, when you are getting discharged from the hospital, it takes forever. So I ended up not even getting out of the hospital until like late in the evening. And prior to me getting out, my brother and his girlfriend came to see me, and it was so refreshing to see like my family, my people, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I had been down there by myself, and like there's been plenty of weekends I sat in the house and Ruby went off and did her thing, and I was just in the crib by myself. But like being in the hospital is different. So I was so happy to see them. They brought me like these little gifts, and it was just so nice. Pause, because I forgot something. So when they told me I could go outside, I would wake up in the middle of the night, I kept going outside to my car just because I didn't want to be in that room. Like I wanted to be somewhere familiar. So I would go sit in my car. Now, obviously, I wasn't going to let my car just run because gas is expensive. Okay, so this is my jam. This is Angel by Anita Baker. Love this song. Anyway, let me focus. So I was going to my car. I was turning the battery on, but I wasn't turning the engine on. And I guess one of those times I didn't turn it off. Like I guess I forgot to turn it off. I'm not gonna bother to tell y'all. I went out there probably at like 4:35 a.m. Why was my car battery dead, y'all? I was so over it. I was just like, and then I just was like, before I went down the rabbit hole of being negative, because I try not to do that. I'm actually very big on not doing that. I just told myself, I was like, you know what? It's all good. It's all going to work out because everything always works out in my favor. And it did. Now, mind you, my windows were down. So I went to go try and turn my car on so I can roll my windows up. And it wasn't. It was giving, baby, you're burnt. And I was like, ah. So I got out of the car. I keep jumper cables in my trunk. And luckily, there was a lady in the parking garage, and she had her window down. So I like kind of stayed away because I didn't want her to get scared or whatever. I was like, hey, I'm a patient here, and my car battery is dead and my windows are down. I just don't think that it's safe for me to leave my windows down. Is there any way that you can give me like a jump? I said, I have the jumper cables or whatever. Sis did not want to help me. Her whole demeanor, her whole everything. Now, she did end up helping me, but she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. I hope you know how. And one part of me wanted to be like, ma'am. But I was like, I'm going to keep it cute. She's about to help me. She's about to do me a favor. I'm going to keep it cute. So I was like, I don't even need a full jump, because in my head, I'm like, I'll just try to call AAA and like later on in the morning or whenever, if they this is before I knew I was leaving. So I was like, when it's time for me to leave, I'll just call AAA, or I can have somebody jump my car, no big deal. I was like, I don't even need a full jump. I just need a little bit of juice so I can roll up my windows. So I did try to get it started, but I don't know if she had it hooked up correctly on her end. And so it didn't like work, but I did get enough juice so I could put my windows up. So locked my car and I went back upstairs. I was like, I should have just stayed my ass upstairs. No, I did find out that the hospital, like the security, they had jump packs, so saved my life. But anyway, fast forward back to Sunday. My brother and his girlfriend had came and they just showed me so much love. They loved on me and it made me feel good. And they even told me that they would have jumped my car, but you know, they ended up not having to, which was, you know, a good thing. So, Sunday, like before my brother and his girlfriend came, I was talking to my older sister. I love her down. She watches my videos, so sis, shout out to you. I love you very much. She was definitely, and that's not to discredit like anybody else. Like, you know, obviously my mom and my stepdad, they know that I love them, you know. But my sister held it down. She made sure that my daughter was good, as far as getting to work and stuff. And then I had another friend make sure she got home from work safely, like kept me updated. So my sister's the GOAT, the real MVP. Love her. Um, Forever grateful. Like, for anybody that was there for me or that helped me while I was in that situation, like, I'm forever grateful because having a support system is so important, and realizing that your support system is not as big as you thought it was, or that your circle isn't as big as you thought it was, it's real humbling, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, when they came, I was in good spirits because I'm like, I know I'm going home today. I literally was talking to the creator, I was talking to the universe, talking to my ancestors, you know, whatever. And I'm like, y'all know what it's given. I need to get out of here. I got stuff to do. I'm trying to prepare for all of this stuff. I gotta get out of here. But first, I'm so very grateful. And I just was thanking them for keeping me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when my brother and them got there, we was cracking jokes like always. Like it was a vibe. And they came in and they told me that, like I said, not only did my numbers not go down, they went up. They didn't even stay the same. They went up higher than what they thought it was from 4 units, the 4 units of blood that I received. And they told me that I could go home. And I was just like, yes, I get to go home, take a real shower in my own shower, use my own bathroom, sleep in my own bed. Baby, I got a queen size bed, so sleeping in that hospital bed, it was the full. So yeah, I like took advantage. Like they asked me, they're like, "Oh, do you need a wheelchair?" And I'm like, "Well, not really." I was like, "But you know, I'll take care of being chauffeur." So my brother said he was gonna push me in a wheelchair, and he was trying to crash me. We'd be like, when we get together, we act like kids. So he was trying to crash me, and I was like, "All right." I was like, "I can walk now." I was like, "So go ahead and crash me if you want to. I'm gonna get up out this chair and whoop that ass." So, and it was just all love. We was just joking around. But yeah, they took me to dinner, and it was a good night. I got to see my baby. She jumped in my arms, y'all. And my child is very much, don't touch me. She's a teenager, so it's, don't touch me. I'll give you a hug when I want to give you a hug. But she jumped in my arms, y'all. And when I tell you it broke me, my baby she had been keeping it from me, but she said, Mom, I was crying on Saturday when you told me you weren't coming home because I thought that you were never coming home. Tore me up. Like, for real, tore me up. Definitely tore me up. And I hated that she had to feel that way. And truth be told, that shit was my fault because I wasn't on it like I was supposed to be as a parent. And it wasn't like I just said to hell with my health. Not at all. Like, never that. Like, I've always been in pretty good health, for the most part. But I was just mommy got to get to it. I got to get to this money. I got to, I got to take care of you. Got to pay the bills. Got to do that. Like, you know what I mean? And it tore me up that I had prioritized all of these other things above myself. And my body suffered from it. Now, thank God that there's no severe damage to my internal organs, and with time the floater will go away. I gotta check in with my eye doctor just to make sure. And even with the floater, I can still see, like I literally can still see about 98%. So it's not like I'm blind or anything, but it's like it obstructs my line of vision. But I can still drive, I can still, do all of the things that I need to do. But when she jumped in my arms and just was like, Mom, I'm so happy you're home. I'm so, like, I could have just broke down. Like, that shit tore me up. But yeah, so that was my experience overall. I was in the hospital last weekend. I almost lost my life. And it was scary. But I learned just in that short amount of time, it put so much into perspective for me about things that I value, things and people that I care about or cared about, things that are just not important. Because at the end of the day, my life is worth more than any of that stuff. And I even had, like, one of the nurses had said to me, because I just kept saying I wanted to go home because I had shit to do. She was like, do you want them to put "I got shit to do" on your tombstone? And I was like, oh, excuse me. But that was that was real. Like I can be stubborn and want, like I said, want what I want things to go my way, how I want it, when I want it, and be swole than a mug when it don't. So, like I said, I'm grateful that they hammered that into my head. I was irritated because it's just like, all right, you don't got to keep saying it to me. Like, I get it. But now I really, really get it. And I don't know why I decided to share that on my channel. Or I'm deciding to share this on my channel. But I just, in the grand scheme of things, you really never know what somebody else is going through. I can come on here, done up, all smiles, and really be fighting a battle. You feel me? Like, you literally never know what somebody else is going through. And you can make it look good on the outside, but you just never know. So, saying all of that to say, definitely take care of yourself. I am going to, and I'm already doing it now, am going to prioritize my self-care. And I mean that. Like, I don't want no more close calls. I don't want to, there's no room for that. I'm feeling like, I can't even say I'm feeling like, I know for a fact, if I don't know nothing else, I'm meant to be here. I am absolutely meant to be here, and I'm meant to do something great. Or I wouldn't be, I feel like sometimes my music like goes up by itself, but yeah, I'm definitely meant to be here, and I'm definitely meant to do something great, and I plan on doing just that. I value my life. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to be here, and this birthday means so much more to me. Like, I've always been somebody that treated birthdays like, a personal holiday, because to me it is. And not just my birthday, but anybody's birthday that's around me. Like, it's your own personal holiday, babies. But this birthday, it means so much more to me because I almost didn't make it. And that shit is mind-blowing. Because look at me, by looking at me, you would never know that anything was wrong. I mean, nothing is wrong right now. But even watching my videos before, like, you would never know. Now, I noticed that my glow was gone. Like, I felt like, to me, I looked gray. And here it's because I didn't have no blood. But, yeah, be kind to people. You never know what they're going through. If you're able to, and you have people around you that need you, and you're able to, be there. Support in any way that you're able to. And take care of yourself. Like, that's the most important thing. Take care of yourself. I ain't gonna never get caught slipping again. Never. In any way. But yeah, this birthday is a real celebration of life. Because my family could be mourning me. They could, you know what I mean? So I still haven't decided what exactly I want to do for my birthday, but most of the things that I'm normally focused on, like, oh, I gotta make sure my hair's a certain way, and my nails is done, and my, you know, all of this stuff, gotta have this, gotta have that, none of that shit matters to me. It just doesn't. Like, obviously I'm gonna still do something. I'm gonna, you know, I just don't know what. And I don't care to get extremely tore up. Like, last year for my birthday, I had a great time. I was extremely intoxicated and woke up with a hangover. But I had a great time. I don't have a desire to do that this year. Like, I really want to celebrate my life because I'm grateful for it more than ever. I'm probably going to take me a little shot or two, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, but I want it to be different because I'm different. So, like that, like I said, I've had some close calls before, but something about this one just hit different, you know? So, yeah, happy birthday to me. Cheers to 32 motherfucking years. And yeah, stay tuned because from here on out, moving forward, it's going to be nothing but a vibe. I'm going to make sure of that. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I love y'all very much, very deep. Show me some love. Tell me happy birthday, baby, because it's my birthday, baby. Ow. Well, it's not my birthday right now, but by the time y'all get this, it'll be my birthday. So tell me happy birthday. Celebrate you, take care of you, and enjoy life. Do the things that make you happy. Don't give a fuck about what anybody has to say or what anybody thinks. Do the things that make you happy and be fulfilled. Don't do things that other people expect you to do or because you think, you know, it's what you, I don't know if I want to say that. Don't do things because of other people. Do what makes you feel happy. Do what feels good in your heart. Do what feels good to your soul. That's what I plan to do. Live my life to the absolute fullest. In the most gracious way. And just, you know, show gratitude. That's it. That's all. I'm going to love as hard as I can. I'm going to receive that same type of love back because one thing about it, the love that I give and the love that I show, if it is not reciprocated, gotta go. And I mean that in every way, and I don't care who you are. Yeah. Because I deserve that. I'm going to prepare for this trip that I am so excited for. It is much needed. And I'm not a vlogger. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. But I think I'm going to even throw in a little vlog for y'all so y'all can see my experience, see the things that I do. I think I'm gonna do like a little vloggy vlog. One time for the one time, just to see what it's given. Please bear with me because I am not a vlogger. So if the camera's shaky or whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, I think that is it for this video. Again, if you stayed to the end, I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, because it helps me out. And yeah, give me your thoughts. I think that's it. Y'all know me. Sometimes I like go off on tangents, and so I'm trying to like make sure that I'm not forgetting to say anything that I wanted to say. I didn't take notes for this story time because I wanted everything to come from the heart, you know. And I mean, truthfully, for most of my story times, I don't really take notes because it's in here or it's in here. Like you know, if I'm telling the story time, it's because it was something that was significant to me, whether good or bad. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope that y'all have a wonderful weekend. I know that I plan to. I think this is also Labor Day weekend, so happy Labor Day if you celebrate Labor Day. But yeah, I'm about to turn up and celebrate my life this weekend and every day after that. So yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.